Back to game 2 of our best of 3 showdown here. It's elimination day in the CIS region as we go down the home stretch. I'm LD, he's Draskell. I got the names right. This is going to be a great game already. I can feel it, Andy.
Excellent.
M19 currently trailing Team Spirit 0-1.
Yeah, I think we both agreed last game. M19's game plan was solid. It was a lineup that I actually thought could have won the game at like 30 minutes, 25 minutes. You know, they hit a really nice timing when they were pushing bottom. And then slowly but surely, they kind of just got chipped away at, maybe getting a little bit too greedy. And ultimately, the Team Spirit were able to come back off of
They required more discipline, I think, that game.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really blame them for the dive because the Sven was dead, and he had no buyback. It's like if they win that fight, it's just game over. They automatically win the game. But in the grand scheme of things, it was just too big of a risk. Ended up hurting them a lot. But new game, new draft, new heroes. Team Spirit with the Nyx Ancient Apparition opening. Can't say that I've seen that one before.
Yeah, we have seen the AA first phase on occasion. I'm trying to think what we see him with usually. Like Void sometimes has come out in phase 1 to go with the AA. Other than that, like a Rubik once in a while. But I guess the way M19 were playing last game, it was pretty heavy push, and AA on paper is very good against that. So in that sense, I suppose it does make a bit of sense. But yeah, it's a little curious to see this duo in particular.
Well, I guess it might mean more towards offlane Nyx.
Yeah, if that is their support duo already, then there's a lot of info from 19 going into the second phase.
Yeah, Nyx is a really strong first phase hero right now because he's pretty ambiguous. He can offlane, he can support. You know, it's not like the full trifecta, but at the very least, you can pair him with a lot of different stuff. And up until like the last pick, M19 can still second guess themselves and say, okay, is it position 4? Is it offlane? We're not really sure. But even if it is offlane, Veno does not care at all about Nyx in lane. If it's a Veno safe, which is what we traditionally see. I think I've seen like one Veno mid throughout the entire qualifier so far, and the rest of them have just been exclusively safe laners.
I mean, the Veno's really annoying. He's obviously very self-sufficient in the lane. How do you feel about his overall strength as far as like actually a hero that wins you the game? Like,
I think he's super good.
Are you impressed by the Veno picks and how much they bring to the table overall?
Yeah, he's crazy strong because he not only offers push, but you can't, like, if the Veno is set up in his lane, you can't really go to the Veno's lane. If he has like multiple Plague Wards down, he's like level 7 or 8, has Poison Nova, that tower is not dying. You have to go somewhere else. And there's not many heroes who can like TP to an off lane, start dropping Plague Wards, and then just take the tower, and the enemy team will ignore him because they say, if we get Poison Nova and Galed, and there's like 1 or 2 heroes standing behind this Veno, we're gonna die, and we're gonna lose the tower anyway. So it's a very different hero and what he offers. He does have some weaknesses. I would say that Natural Pipe and Mech Carriers are great against him, Darkseer is great against him. Obviously it's banned this game, but there are some things that do well into the Veno. Lycan is actually also a solid choice because you don't really have to worry about Gale. You can just run in and punch him. And the other day we actually saw Phantom Lancer beat a Veno lineup when the Veno's team had Megas.
Really?
It was Mouse versus Danish Bears.
Oh, I think that was like the last series of the day.
Yeah.
Or okay.
Or no, it was second to last because I was waiting for that game to end.
Oh, I was casting.
No, it wasn't Danish Bears. Who was it? It was the match before that because Mouse ended up winning the full series and then played Danish Bears
Singularity?
after. Yeah, it might have been Singularity.
Gotcha. Well, M19. Well, you can try and ban out some of those pushing heroes, but that is not going to deter them too easily. They go for the Jakiro. I'd say most often we've just seen Jakiro against Treant Protector. Not particularly common otherwise. But they, again, are really focusing on just mowing down towers.
Yeah, Jakiro's not really good against Bristleback, and not really good against Nyx, but it does add to the push, as you're saying. So in regards to the game plan, they're still sticking to it. But at the same time, I don't know, I think it shows a little bit of nervousness from M19, that they don't know if they can beat Spirit playing a different type of lineup other than just flat out push. I mean, there is also the possibility that they just think that it's the best way to play, which is also fair. But if you're just picking these heroes because you feel like you can't like outskill or outplay Team Spirit in fights, given the way that last game went, you know, who's to say that it's not going to happen again?
Team Spirit mixing it up here. They go back for the Weaver. Here we have not seen a whole lot of, but you know, already the Jakiro, Clockwork have been shown. Generally, those are both supports. So unless M19 want to convert one of these into a core, they're not going to have a good anti-Weaver hero. Could be a very free game for him. This might give M19 pause. Do they, you know, want to grab that disruptor or something? Just convert the Clockwork?
This is a super good Weaver game already.
I think this puts a lot of pressure on their draft, and if they try to like adjust and counterpick him, then it's going to undermine the idea that they want to go for, which is just push hard, ideally as a group of 5.
Maybe they go back for like a Drow and just put Veno mid and just say, all right, all in push.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea.
It's crazy all in though. Like
it's very hard against the Nyx, the AA though.
It depends on your timings. I think if the Drow hits 6 or 7, you get all the tier 1 towers, like, immediately. Veno benefits from the aura, Jakiro benefits from the aura. You can have the Veno mid, his tower will never die. Like, it is just impossible to take that tower if the Veno is just sitting there.
Well, M19 will have to really kind of lay their cards on the table if they want all in on their idea, or if they want to adjust to Team Spirit now. This pick will pretty much decide all of that, and they are going to somewhat respond as they grab the Bloodseeker.
Interesting pick. Obviously good against Weaver. It can be okay against Bristle. He is a Silver Edge buyer. I do feel as though normally when you pick Bloodseeker, at least this is what I've observed in the C region, you usually want lanes that are heavily based around harass. So I guess Veno and Jakiro kind of fit the bill. But if this is a support clock, it's not really known for how much harassment it can really put forth in the laning phase. And they're... Wait, they ban SF. They're thinking this is either off lane or safe lane.
Safe lane, yeah. We have seen him in those positions. I saw, I think Era played a safe lane Bloodseeker at one point, but generally it has been a little bit more of a mid hero, and often I would say, like, you know, kind of picked as a counter pick to what the enemy mid has already been shown. But with Spirit, like, it's not clear that they've already picked their mid at all, so it is an interesting Bloodseeker pick for a variety of reasons.
It's a strong hero because there's not a lot of hard disable. Like, Bloodseeker hates playing into stuns. It's kind of similar to Weaver in that sense. The less stuns there are, the better game he's pretty much going to have. So in that sense, you could equally argue that they don't really have a lot to deal with the Bloodseeker either.
Yeah, the other time where we often have seen him in the past is when there's like a really good Blood Rage target, like a Zeus or something, who can just nuke the crap out of the enemy team as a result. But it's more damage over time, so...
Oh man, can you imagine Blood Rage Poison Nova?
Sounds pretty annoying.
Sounds insane, I think is what you mean. It's like 40% damage.
As long as the Veno stays alive.
Yeah, it's 40% extra damage on the Poison Nova. My god, that's actually disgusting.
Spirit will definitely need multiple pipes if that's the way M19 want to play this.
You better buy 5 pipes. Might not even be enough. No boots, just all pipes. Okay, Larissa last pick.
Well, he's good against Bristle. Ain't so good against this guy, though. And in fact, it looks like a really good Storm game if he can just get past that first 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, I think that Spirit are probably just going to end up going aggro.
I don't know, Andy. I'm feeling it for Spirit. I sense a 2-0 on the horizon. I'm not buying the Bloodseeker Ursa.
I think their heroes are a lot easier to play on Spirit. So, you know, usually when it comes to ease of execution, you kind of have to give the drafter the tip of the hat and be like, okay, yeah, your lineup probably can win a lot easier than M19's, but I don't know. I think the Bloodseeker has potential here. It's not, like, amazing against Storm, but it destroys Weaver.
I just can't... I think I lost count of the number of times that, you know, back in the day, Melk was like, oh, this would be a great Bloodseeker game, and then every time he saw the Bloodseeker got completely trashed. I mean, obviously, hero has been buffed a lot since then. But
yeah, I mean...
I'm always skeptical, I want to say.
Does Melk still play Dota?
No, he's a League guy now.
I thought he did League stuff, but he still played Dota.
I think he actually does pub, but...
He just doesn't want to tell anyone?
Well, I think he wants to like, you know, play both sides of the fence. He's like to the league, you know, he tries to represent himself. Well, now he's with North, right? So he's like a CS:GO manager or whatever. But
Right.
you know, he wants us to love him, and he also wants all of those other communities to love him. Then everyone ends up hating him.
That's fair.
That's what you get, Jacob, for being too greedy.
We've been abandoned by him.
Yeah. I feel abandoned too.
All right, so I'm going with the Bloodseeker LD. I'm sorry. I gotta believe.
That's okay. Someone's
believe.
got to believe.
They are losing the tower war though. Doesn't bode well for the dire side.
I actually would love to see some stats on tower levels.
Dude, in pubs, like I'm not even kidding. Like 90% of the time, the team with the better tower wins.
Well, if you think about it, especially in like the high level Dota, like all the teams that are, you know, getting to TI have done well there. Like they all have at least one or two guys of like a level 2000 tower, you know, because they have all that TI money. So, you know, perhaps it kind of, your tower level in a lot of cases, especially at higher MMR, does reflect like how successful of a player you are because you have the money to burn. Perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah, you see a lot of like the Chinese players, the China stacks. They
maybe has like a level 2500 tower or something.
Yeah, I've seen like 15k compendiums in my matchmaking experience. You see that, and you're just like, well, we lost. That's it. Pack it in.
Those are the whales. That's who Valve is going for.
Oh, he's saving the word actually for his mid player. What a guy. I would not have done that. I totally would have taken that.
I don't blame you.
FNG is just a bro. He's trying to help out his Storm player.
Yeah, he even gives people, you know, free hairstyling tips upon request. I feel like every interview I've seen with FNG, at some point the interviewer asks, like, what is your secret? Why is your hair so luscious?
If I wanted anyone's hair in Dota, it would definitely be FNG's.
Would you scalp him just to, you know...
No, I like FNG.
Slap that hair on your head?
I don't want to scalp him. I'm just like, if
you just want the hair.
Yeah, if I had the ability to just have his hair, I would have it. I wouldn't, like...
Kill him for it.
I wouldn't kill him for it.
Alright, well then, clearly you don't want the hair badly enough, Andy.
I mean,
I'm sorry, but you're not committed.
Badly enough to make a drug that can let me travel to the future.
I haven't gotten to see the one with you and Ted, but I heard it's good.
They aired it earlier.
Yeah, I have to. I saw that it had been released, but I will watch it after this game. I'm joining you guys. You know, I'm running pretty low as well.
We got to stick together.
Yeah, that's all. We only have each other because all the non-baldies, well, they don't treat us very well.
They just don't understand.
So, all right, let's talk a little Dota at least. You know, I guess we have to. This is going to be the Bloodseeker mid for Nyx in the end. He's getting dual laned early here, though. FNG wants to give that Storm a good start. M19 did go full aggro try with the Veno, so incredibly annoying tri lane. Not particularly good at catching the Weaver, but man, oh man, can they make his life miserable anyway. And then that does leave their Bristle in the off lane, 1v1 against an Ursa. Probably one of the few heroes that can actually really do well against a Bristle as a melee hero.
Yeah, you just walk at him. Bristle can't do much. You're going to be out of mana because you want to spam quills to get your creep kills, and then LTW just buys a stick and says, okay, I'm going to be able to overpower you pretty much whenever, and just run at you and stack those Fury Swipes.
Iceberg did get pressured a little bit by Misha here, but we'll dodge away from that gank. I mean, the one annoying thing about Bloodseeker is his base damage is quite good, and then you've got the Blood Rage with the Quelling Blade. Like, it's pretty hard to last hit against him. At least at this stage of the lane.
Yeah, it is. It's very hard.
So
especially, a lot of it is dependent on how well the other lanes do. Like, if LTW can keep the Nyx and the Bristleback at, like, lowish life.
Oh, they found the Ice Cream Cone. Vanscore in all kinds of trouble now. Galed up, slowed down. He ain't going anywhere. They will get that first blood. Yeah, you cannot leave the tower if the clockwork's in the neighborhood, or you will be dying. So, quick first blood here from 19. I mean, on paper, it's a draft that really needs to have a good laning stage because they don't have great solutions for the Storm, or necessarily, well, mainly the Storm later on, but even the Weaver potentially. But they're off to a good start, Andy.
Yeah, keeping BZZ kind of low health too, just giving more benefit to Nyx in the mid lane. The more levels he gets, the more he's going to be able to get from his thirst.
You've got an Ursa versus Bristle matchup that's pretty favorable for them. The Storm is the one hero having a really good time, but they're also committing 2 to secure his early farm. So they can win this bottom lane, and they're already winning the top lane just by nature of the matchup, then M19. Call it a successful laning stage for them.
We'll have to see what happens when the Bloodseeker hits 6 if he wants to make like a super early transition into being able to get a kill. Because prior to having time-lapse, and even honestly after you have time-lapse, it can be...
The Rupture still persists, right? You just get the health back?
No, you still take damage too. So what happens is you get the health back as if you know, normally time-lapse, but then you take Rupture damage based on where you were.
Based on where it moves you to?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's a really weird interaction.
And it's the state of Rupture still persists on your hero.
Yes, can't get rid of it.
Yeah. Super annoying. Good argument for a Linken's, perhaps, if the game goes longer.
Yeah, it's a natural Linken's carrier anyway, so I don't think he'll be 2+ by having to buy it.
So no real pressure on the tower yet. It is early here for the Veno, only the 1 point in Plague Wards. But meanwhile, top lane, oh, Blinken, you'll miss it. LTW going ham as the Ursa gets that solo kill on Bristle. Well, that feels good. So many games where you play against the Bristle and he just is unkillable. He's up in your face, but Ursa, one of the few that can take the fight and the pain to him.
I guess the one thing about M19's lineup is even though their lanes are super strong, they... Oh, is he dead? No, misses a stun. But yeah, their lineup is not really great at siege. I mean, I guess they have the Veno, but the Veno's in a tri-lane. The one thing about that hero being in a 3v2 or a 3v3 is that you really do want the levels.
Yeah, and he's not going to get them bottom. Although, right as we say that, they have rotated the clock off the lane again, so I guess they'll do a bit better in that regard, but you're still not getting really any pulls bottom, so it's still a dual lane. As Misha sweeps in onto Iceberg, does have that battery assault. Iceberg could be in trouble here. Tries to slow him down, but is going to get caged up on the high ground. Nyx, no, not able to follow this one up, getting zoned out by FNG, who even gets the carapace done. Now Iceberg wants to go back in on Nyx. The body blocks are there, just has to hit this impale. It's tough to do, though. Good jukes by Nyx, out Nyxing the Nyx down the stretch, and FNG now has to back away.
I think he could have gone for that kill. He had stick charges. Could have walked in there, bopped him a few times, get more damage from the Thirst, and just get the kill.
You mean on the Storm when he went onto the high ground?
No, I mean on the Nyx.
Okay.
Because the Nyx had no mana. He couldn't have even carapace at that point after he threw out the stun, but I guess it's just better to play safe than potentially give away a kill. Man, Iceberg is actually owning. I mean, sure, he had a support in his lane for a little while, but Bloodseeker did as well. A support came mid, started hitting people. Misha applied a little bit of harass. But this Storm is getting an awful lot.
In a really good Storm game, I mean, there's nothing to deal with him.
Yeah, Rupture is not really that good.
There's no setup for Blood Right unless they, I don't know, get a Yules or something.
Yeah. You can make him use his mana if you Rupture him. That's the one thing. Because you can, like, Ball Lightning, obviously, instead of walking, but you do waste a huge chunk of your mana pool. It's more of a nuisance for Storm than I think an actual problem.
Alright, well, let's see how the teams transition here as the lane stage continues. Ursa grabbing his phase boots. Keep checking out the Bristleback stack situation. Does have a double stack. One Ancient Camp, none at the other. Do see BZZ for now. Struggling a bit in the farm department, but, you know, when you see the Veno pick, it's often like, alright, he's just going to really pressure the tower early. So far, hasn't managed to do that too much. Mostly just kind of being annoying here with these side pulls. Does have his catapult wave now. But Team Spirit able to hold that tower healthy. And now wrapping around, looking for the Funnick flank, but FNG whiffs the stun again. He has struggled to connect on those today. Now he's going to have to TP out. Just one Gale, and he's gone. That is going to free things up for Misha. Gets on to Vangscore. Battery Assault prepped up. Rupture comes through. They bring in Nyx, and that is a very dead Ancient Apparition. One swing of the claws, and down he'll go. And good news, well, it is your 5 position support, but still early pressure now from M19. They do have the 2 points in Liquid Fire. They want this tier 1, and I do not see Team Spirit defending this.
Yeah, level 3 Plague Wards. It's going to take a while, but I think they actually just kill this tower. In the meantime, though, it does take a while. And Iceberg's going to be able to pressure the tier 1 mid, so I don't think that even if they do ultimately kill a tower, that it's going to be a huge deal for Spirit, because they're going to be getting a huge amount on mid.
Well, they want Nyx. FNG looking for him, but the real Nyx going in is this Bloodseeker. Good zoning tactics by him. Meanwhile, Storm cutting the wave in the mid lane. But LTW there to reduce that pressure. And it looks like this tier 1 is going to drop. Last hit to the Bloodseeker. No, actually to Funnick. So he now has 600 gold to work with. Already has the Aquila, the wand, so we'll see what the Veno's build is this game. I mean, Andy, there's been like a few different styles of Veno. There's been more of like that physical DPS. We've also seen the caster Veno. Those are probably the two main ones with the early Veil pickup or potentially the Hurricane Pike as an alternative. Is there a particular Veno like itemization you prefer this game?
I think Pike is core, just because the attack range is nice. You do eventually get the 75 damage talent, so you benefit from the attack range. The on-use is also very good this game because there's not really that many disables, so like a Vortex or an Impale, you can force your teammates out. I think that's a really strong choice. Veil is also a classic.
They do Rupture FNG here in mid. Getting a few auto attacks off, but the threat of the Carapace stunning you under tower, not something you want to mess with, especially with that Storm off the map. As Iceberg sweeps in on the bottom lane, he wants a piece of Funnick to get the swarm on him, balling forward. Does not have a point in the electric vortex, but he's got the damage, gets the Funnick kill. They can chase on the Muriel here. I don't know if the Storm has quite enough mana to go for that kill, especially not uphill into a shrine. BZZ is scouting him though. Muriel's moved past the shrine, and they are going to commit forward. Big ball lightning lands there with the follow-up remnant. He needs 2 more auto attacks to get this kill, and he will do so. The Blood Right, oh, maybe going to punch him on the way out. Turn, stands his ground, gets a good bit of damage onto the Clockwork. Hasn't finished Misha off though, stays alive. They lose their Storm for this, only getting the Twin Head there at the end. That does not seem worth it at all. Maybe if BZZ can find the next kill. Has the time lapse still. Walking into the Blood Right, juking out of it. Will end up surviving. Unfortunate death on the Storm though. I guess in the end it is a 2-for-1 there, but still, could have been a 1-for-0.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you have that kind of situation where you're getting the bonus skill, it's very easy to kind of develop the tunnel vision and say, okay, I can definitely get this. But nice reaction from M19. They kind of gave him the pincer, collapsing from not only the shrine, but the mid-tier 1.
They're going to set up on this mid lane. Big jump forward onto the clock. Instantly taken down. Can't miss that Impale. FNG making the plays. Now the point booster ready for Iceberg if he wants to snap it up from the shop. And all the while, Bristleback is getting a little me time. He's grabbed the Vitality booster. They now have, I believe, a quad stack for him to farm. So it's a Bristle who's going to catch up nicely. It's a Storm who's getting out of control. Things are looking up for Team Spirit as this laning stage tips towards the tail end. FNG trying to TP out, but a good Ice Path prevents it. M19 do strike back in the mid lane. They'll get a kill there on the Twin Head. But still, they're not killing the Weaver. They're definitely not killing the Storm unless he wants to go on them. And
they're ignoring the Bristle. Yeah. Like they just say, okay, Phobos, you got a Vanguard. We're not even going to go to that lane. It's going to let you free farm. Yeah, it's a bit concerning if you're an M19 fan, to say the least.
Big jump in by Iceberg, and manages to juke away from the majority of Nyx's damage. Now he balls in one more time. He's out of mana. He has the regen rune bottled up, and this is space created as the Roshan has been attempting cold feet there, though. It's going to lock the Ursa in position, bringing him pretty low, and Storm's threatening to go in with that regen rune. He can make a huge committed jump here. Will he get there in time? They want to get out. LTW, he's afraid, and as well he should be. Is the Roche low enough for a snatch to be attempted here? Team Spirit might just walk in with the Bristle. I think they can threaten for this. They also have the Swarm. It's dangerous in the pit. You got to worry about the Poison Nova. Team Spirit respecting the AoE teamfight of M19. A tense moment for both squads. You lose a Roshan and you give it away to Team Spirit, and suddenly it is entirely their game with the better late game, and already difficult to deal with Storm. He'll be close to a Bloodstone and virtually impossible at that point. So they do play it safe here. They're going to pressure the lanes instead. Ideally, you'd love to take down the tower mid or top before you go for the Roche. Try to limit this map control Spirit if possible.
Yeah, and even more to your point about the Roshan, it's an Ursa lineup. So if the Ursa is not getting Roshan, that feels super bad because he's not naturally a good objective hitter. He's more of, I kill the heroes, and then after I kill the heroes, I get the building. And a lot of the time when you do that, you have to dive.
And you're probably going to die, and you really want to be the meat shield for your team, but if you don't have the Aegis, quite scary to do that.
It's very, very tricky. I think M19 actually dodged a bullet there.
It's a pretty risky Roche to go for when the tier 1 is up top and mid and the Shrine's still online. But this tower top will be denied. Well done with the Plague Ward. Funnick. Still, though, tower down for Team Spirit. They'll be happy about the map control they've gained there. Now they're going to go for their Ancients. which also means they'll be near the Roche pit. Maybe not yet. Phobos thinking about it. Trying to find the right time. Does have to be careful against the Bloodseeker. Not to get too low here. But it's all about this Roshan dance now. There's an illusion in the pit. The Plague Wards get planted down. M19 are going to go for it again. They can set up with the Veno around the pit before they commit too hard. That's going to make it much more difficult to engage. These bashes, though, are making LTW a sad, sad bear.
Dude, there's no way they can do it. Like, the AA has 6. He throws an Ice Blast in the pit, and the Ursa gets a little bit low. He's just dead.
And there's basically no control for Iceberg, so he can just jump in there when the Roche is low and probably snatch the Aegis, if not get multiple kills out of it. Funnick moves in, has the Poison. Nova's just plops it on Phobos. Not sure about that. Now it won't be available for the impending Roche fight. This shows the desperation of M19 to grab this Roche. Funnick trying to keep the vision here with these Plague Wards. Discourage the Ursa from moving in, but the Ice Blast comes through. LTW in a lot of danger as the Storm balls into position. He's low, likely to fall. The Ice Path is there, but one more Remnant is going to bring him down. The Roche almost falling now. They get the bash on Funnick. Roshan, apparently a secret operative for the squad of Team Spirit as the Aegis hits the deck. Nyx will get the last hit. The Roche kill also going the way of M19, and they get the kill in the Storm. Oh, salvage perhaps, but they've lost 3. Make it 4. Not ideal. Round 2. Also going to be painful for Nyx. Bloodright gets dropped, but 3 are on his heels. The Carapace comes through, and that means the Bloodseeker down as well. That's 5 deaths, including the Aegis. All of that just for a Storm. They got the Roche. Gold, but not worth.
Yeah, that was a disaster. I didn't really think that they were going to try to go for it because they always have the Vortex in the pit. They have vision all the time, Team Spirit, and as soon as they see that the Ursa's getting a little bit low, they do the Ice Blast, the Storm commits, and the Ursa just dies. Like, he has to pop his ult to make sure that he can deal the damage to Roche fast enough to get the kill and to stop the damage from the Ice Blast, but yeah.
They really forced it there, Andy.
I think they're, like I said, I think they're feeling a little bit nervous. Like, they needed to get that objective in order to reach their win condition, but I mean, getting the Roche and getting the Aegis is the only silver lining.
Oh, FNG is on the move now. He's got an opportunity here, setting up Nyx and Funnick, fairly tanky. But Misha, a bit easier to take down. Storm is even moving into position. Iceberg very close to that Bloodstone, and is going to make his move now, balling forward, but the hook's there to counter-initiate. Doesn't seem to matter. All the pushback, beautifully done. Still one more Remnant forward, or rather, Ball Lightning forward, and they do get the kill on Nyx. Now the follow-up, BZZ deploying the Swarm, looking for Misha as well. He's going to dive towards the base. Big commitment here from the Weaver. Is he going to get this clock kill? No, not with the Shrine. Time lapse is out, and see you later. Now FNG on the run has the Carapace, activates it a bit prematurely, so LTW can just time it out, get the clap off, get the kill. Still though, Storm will survive. That is now Bloodstone time. 700 gold in the bank. Storm is up about 2,000 gold at 15 minutes. He is all of their advantage and then some. And this is a Storm game, so life is quite rough for M19 now.
Yeah, the sad thing for M19 right now is the fact that the Veno is so poor. Like, he's only got Veil right now. I mean, Veil is a great item on Veno, no questions, but when you have a tri-lane, you kind of want your Veno to be, you know, sitting atop of the net worth, not, like, contesting middle of the pack with your other heroes and then the cores of the team that you tri-lane against as well.
So, what do you do now if you're M19? Like, you tried to force the Roche, it didn't work out. Storm is pretty out of control, and looking for more. Hold that thought as we'll isolate Misha. Go splat. But yeah, like, how do you salvage this game, Andy?
Maybe wait for the Bloodseeker to get BKB. I still think that, you know, prior to BZZ having Lincolns, which he's rushing the Fusel right now, there's going to be a really good window to where you can punish that hero in particular. And if you have BKB, then you can run down the Nyx, you can run down the AA. Bristle and Storm are always going to be a problem, but to some degree their lineup, it really did need to do a lot better in the lanes, and it really needed to get the first Roche. That was like 2 criteria that were very, very important for them to meet that they just haven't. So it's, as you've already said, it is definitely a rough game right now.
And nobody's really farming that well. The Bloodseeker did go for Midas, but even so, he's nowhere near the Storm in terms of net worth. The Bristleback is pulled ahead on the back of those ancient stacks.
Bottom again.
And they are looking for more. Iceberg in position here, bottom. The Ursa does force him on his heels. He'll just ball away. But he can apply this kind of pressure whenever he chooses. FNG is there in position as LCW chases forward. They're going to plop down a sentry. Iceberg does get hooked, but he balls his way out of it as Misha was connecting on the hook. Manages to dodge out of an ice path too. The ice blast comes over the top, debuffing Misha. So they have the damage to bring him down. Phobos turns his back and the Quill stack up. Quill after Quill after Quill. They just need a little more damage here from Iceberg to get the Nyx kill, to get the LTW kill. He hasn't gotten any of them yet. Oh, this could be bad for the Storm. He opts for the TP out in the end. FNG wants Nyx so bad. He got the urn on him, but I'm not sure it's enough to kill him off. He manages to tap that shrine. He will survive. Somehow FNG fails to get the kill, and now Funnick will be brought down with BZZ coming in for the late flank, but they got the Bristle. They got the Nyx. Not too shabby for M19 in the end.
That could have been a disaster, though. Like, if that hero dies, like the Bloodseeker, Iceberg kind of hesitated on his last ball lightning. He just assumed that the overload plus the auto was going to be able to get the kill. So then he realizes after the fact that it didn't actually kill Nyx, and he balls again in the greedy sense to try to find him and get that one extra hit off to make sure that he dies and he gets a Bloodstone charge. But as soon as that happens, he gets an ice path to the face, and he's standing right next to an Ursa. So at that point, he decides, okay, time to leave. And I guess, you know, Iceberg not dying is also a good thing. He still is sitting highest in the net worth by a pretty wide margin at this point.
In fact, all three of their cores are ahead of the M19 cores.
Yeah.
The only hero who's behind on Spirit is the Ancient Apparition. But he's got his level 6, you know, and he doesn't really need to take over for them to win this game.
It's also kind of difficult for the AA to just sit in side lanes against Clockwork and Ursa with a Blink and a Bloodseeker. You're just going to be forced to like TP back to base all the time, or you're just going to die. So he's just like sitting behind his team waiting for opportunities.
19 are really trying to force it here. They get the Rupture off on Phobos, but he turns his back. He's just so damn tanky that he just keeps on walking through this Rupture. Yeah, right, Nyx, he says. And now gets the stun. Good initiation. Ice Blast coming through the pole. Ice Blast will connect, and now Iceberg should be able to net a kill here on Nyx. Goes for the TP out. No, maybe not. Will TP away. Makes it home. Probably survives through this Ice Blast, but it'll be very low. The Ursa not so lucky, though. He's been brought down. That's 2 more Bloodstone charges, up to 16 on the Storm. Almost a charge per minute.
Yeah, it's looking more and more difficult as time goes on for M19. I think the Bloodseeker in the laning phase, just having that additional pressure by having the Nyx Assassin sit mid was really good because it allowed Iceberg to get ahead and stay ahead. And the first rotation by the Bloodseeker, he TP's bottom. He only gets support. So we haven't really seen like the effectiveness of the Bloodseeker against the early game of Team Spirit.
Cogs end up being a little coffin that Misha's built for himself, and he will pay. Gets brought down. Phobos standing in the middle of this entire fight, just getting quills off all over Muriel, and still the Storm getting more and more Bloodstone charges as the time goes on. Now Funnick forced back. They've gotten 3 kills. He does get galed, but hey, that's what Ball Lightning is for. At the same time, he's balled directly into the Ursa. He could be in danger here. Iceberg may have to Bloodstone deny. Yeah, he knows Seppuku, the only way out of this one. But an instant respawn for him. He's back in the action. Still killing the Storm is a desperately needed turn of positive fortune for M19.
Yeah, the Bloodstone charges getting eaten down is massive. Deny or not. Like, sure, you would like the kill, but the mana regeneration on the Bloodstone is what enables Storm to be Storm. And now they're going to have to wait for another opportunity to...
Oh, that sentry that was planted earlier. Very well placed as FNG could be in danger here, but he gets off the Carapace. Oh, Gale. Not going to hit him, actually. He's so low that the Bloodseeker does have vision, though. And with that, reinforcements arriving. Phobos locking on to Muriel, charging into 4 heroes. The great setup. The Ice Blast comes through. They go pop. Quick double kill. Team Spirit looking for more. They could threaten to dive this tower. And that is pretty scary when you commit so much to a Nyx who's entirely on his own. But Spirit, their ability to close the gap is unparalleled.
Yeah, it was a really nice play from Iceberg there. He balls in, sees that the Ice Blast is coming, knows that it's going to kill the Jakiro regardless of whether or not he uses the Vortex, so instead, even though he was previously attacking him, switches targets, pulls the other hero in, ensures that the Ice Blast hits on both, gets both kills. Credit for that to the Bloodstone. They've just been playing a really solid Dota game. You can't say that M19 haven't played that well, it's just their heroes have very kind of harsh limitations. until the Bloodseeker gets BKB, walking into the middle of the team fight is really hard. We saw how ineffective Rupture can be against Bristle. He just walked away. Like, he just said, whatever. Bristleback
He
works.
basically took, like, the entire Rupture duration just running and was fine.
I think you kind of have to Rupture the Weaver every fight. Like, that's the only hero who really suffers from it. We did see them take down BZZ in the middle lane fight previously. Because even with the use of the time lapse, he still got hit by Blood Rite, still really couldn't move anywhere, sat in the macro pyre, and eventually just kind of melted down. But
So M19 are stacking up the Midases now. They grabbed another one on the Veno, and then he's going to transition into this Aghanims build, but it seems like they have kind of made the call as a team. We cannot win now. We cannot deal with Spirit in the mid game. We're going to have to head towards the late game to even have a chance, but I kind of feel like that plays into Spirit's hands at the same time.
it definitely does. The late game Storm is always a monster.
Speaking of which, big ball lightning forward. Does find the opening here and locking down Nyx. The hook comes through. Does not get off the Poison Nova though. So Iceberg collecting more Bloodstone charges. He's pretty low on the mana department. He keeps on diving forward. He's up to 16. One little additional ball out will end up surviving. Meanwhile, BZZ punishing the bear. This pesky bug just won't get off his back. He's in all kinds of trouble now. Hounded. He does manage to enrage off that Diffusal Blade. Well timed there, and the cooldown prevents the follow-up. The old Diffusal Blade, well, maybe just purge him again and get the kill anyway, but...
I mean, still, it's showcasing the issue that their cores have. Like, the Bloodseeker is not a good matchup against Bristle. The Ursa is not a good matchup against the Weaver or the Storm. So they're relying heavily on the supports to be able to, you know, get the Ursa in range, to be able to hit targets. You rupture them so that Ursa can hit a target. It just doesn't really seem to be...
And a support like Jakira Clockwork can do nothing against Storm, can do very little against Weaver. So you're relying on supports that just aren't that good at it either.
Yeah, it's not optimal, to say the least. Their lineup just needed to do a lot more at a very early stage in the game. So execution-wise, during the draft we talked about, Team Spirit is a lot easier to play with their heroes. And that's kind of, I think, what's being reflected here.
Yeah, obviously you can look at the way M19 have approached this game. Like, they didn't have to force that Roche the way they did. That definitely tipped the game heavily in Team Spirit's favor, but you mentioned feeling the pressure in this game. I think also maybe feeling the pressure in the qualifier as a whole. They're down 0-1. They're on the ropes to get knocked out and fall just short of TI. And the struggle continues as FNG jukes away from this hook. They blow a lot just to get that kill. BKB committed early in the fight by Nyx. And now Storm looks to go in. Diving deep onto the Ursa. Can they kill him off? Easy grab. The Ice Path not solidifying in time. Iceberg jukes out of that too. Also going down to Nyx. Storm balling out of control. 18 Bloodstone charges. About to be 19. Muriel's next on the list. Maybe they can even go for Phonic 2. No, it will end there. Up to 19. Well, if he hadn't died that one time earlier, he'd be at like 25 now. Storm absolutely out of control, and they have not even grabbed him this Aegis, but that is next on the agenda for a streaking Team Spirit.
And just in case anybody was wondering, Storm is like the best Aegis carrier in Dota. It's not even close, actually, how good he is at holding that item. Just because of how mobile he is. Having mana on Storm is also like having a second life bar because he just has so much mobility with the ball lightning. This is Cheese and Aegis, by the way. So we saw the earlier team fight where M19 got the... Oh, Jesus,
Oh,
Iceberg.
yeah. Iceberg. He's going deep. This man does not know the word back, but he might get punished for it. Oh. No, able to ball out. The hook's there. That does kill off the Aegis. Remember, he still has Cheese, though. He still has the second life. A little cocky. Yeah, he's quite sad about that one.
He did get bashed, so I kind of understand the chat wheel there. Very nice play, though, from Misha to take him down.
Still, like, it takes him playing that cocky to kill him. You know, if he's playing defensively,
yeah,
well, good luck.
He's been playing pretty defensively in fights with how he uses his ball lightning, which I think is good. Because he knows as long as he doesn't die, like, they're gonna win the fights. Like, Phobos is pretty big in regards to overall farm. He's actually second highest in the game. It's just that when you compare it to Iceberg, who is still like 2,500 above anyone else.
Now Storm could jump in again. Finds the twin head on the side of the fight, locking him down with the Orchid. He almost finishes him off, jukes away. Last auto attack looking at the kill, and all the while Ursa is just running. He's not hitting anyone. It feels like for the last 3-4 fights he shrines up. Iceberg just kites him. He does get bashed though. He'll need one more of those if he wants the kill. The cold feeder there, not gonna matter. M19 gets slaughtered. While that was happening, the other 3 heroes got cleaned up in the back lines, and a celebratory ball towards the fountain, but like you said, Andy, M19, they needed basically flawless execution to take this one, and it was, well, anything but in this game too.
Yeah, the first Roche really kind of shot them in the foot. Like, they went in, they committed super hard against the AA, who had a perfect timing on his level 6 to prevent them from just being able to walk into the pit and take it. I think if the AA was level 5, that would have been completely different, because that's what allowed them to take down the Ursa. So, in conjunction with just the heroes that they have, and how they match up, it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors match. You know, you have Bristleback, which is rock, and it's like the Ursa is scissors. And then you have Storm, which is like all 3 of them combined, because he's really fair in matchups where you don't have stuns. Yeah, I think that it's just draft superiority in this game from Team Spirit. I think M19 played the way that they needed to play to try to win the game. And you can always look back and say, okay, that first Roshan attempt, why did you go for that? But that's what their lineup needs to do.
They have to take Roche, they have to dominate the lanes, they have to just snowball, and they couldn't.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to Spirit. Very nice draft. Iceberg played a phenomenal Storm Spirit. Liked it a lot. And congratulations to Team Spirit.
Well, they can't be patting themselves on the back too much, because they still have 2 more teams to beat. They got to beat.
Oh, this is lower bracket.
Yeah, this is lower bracket, so they still have to beat Vega and Empire.
Okay.
The BO3 and the BO5 if they want to go the distance. So.
And Vega were looking good.
Yeah, lots of work still for Team Spirit, but they at least get a win under their belt, and they do stay alive here in the International 2017 CIS qualifiers. Any last words?
Just ready to watch some more Dota. I mean, unfortunately, this is the only CIS thing I covered today. I do EU now, so I won't get to see the conclusion.
All right. Well, you guys are stuck with me. No more Draskell. Sorry. Fog will be joining me for the next one. Lower bracket finals coming up, then on to the grand finals, which will be a full best-of-5 winner of that. Well, they go to TI7. Not too shabby. Over $20 million about to be the new prize pool. So thanks for watching, guys. Next series coming up in a little bit. But for now, it's LD and Draskell signing off.
E-Gaming Bets, online betting for every